once the information is put on, can everybody still see my screen? I'm sorry. Okay. I put the username and password in, and I can go ahead and begin filing. So I have a PIN number, and I don't have to fill in all of these boxes. PIN number is golden. If I have a PIN number, that's all I need to put in. If you don't, if they're looking by name or if they're looking by address, that is a feature, but I highly recommend using the PIN number. I'll click search, and this is my taxpayer. Here's a series of questions that are on the application. This property only has one PIN number. If you can see, I have a PIN number here with the classification of the property. This particular taxpayer has lived here since January 1 of 2024. So she qualifies for a homeowner's exemption. No disabled veteran exemption on this application. Not a disabled person. And she was not born 1959 or prior. So as I indicate in these boxes, you can see that it's telling me that this person would qualify for a homeowner's exemption. I click next. We do have some properties that are prorated, meaning that we have 2 different PINs or 3 different PINs. This particular taxpayer only has one PIN number, so I don't need to do anything, and it states if there are no additional PINs, I would click next. And here is my dashboard. It's telling me to review all of my exemptions that I'm trying to file for. And by checking this box, it's affirming that I haven't applied, this taxpayer hasn't applied for any other exemptions. If you see here, it's indicating that the homeowner's exemption is the only box that's grayed out. And this is the exemption that this taxpayer is going to be applying for. The filer tab. If you're filing on behalf of some of your constituents, which I know many of you might be, you're going to indicate that you are the taxpayer owner. You're going to be filing as if you are the taxpayer or the owner. Attorney and representatives, not for you all, but this is for taxpayer owner. And I have an additional drop down. 99% of the people that are filing as a taxpayer owner. We do have some people that are filing as a former owner. Maybe they sold the property. If they're indicating that they're a beneficiary of the trust, trust documentation is going to need to be uploaded. Tenant will need lease agreements. Some people might be a trustee, an executor, other, which you're going to be able to type in who you are. We have township assessor, and we have a deceased taxpayer. Again, I'm going to say 95% of the people are the taxpayer owner. There's a hamburger icon here that I can click, and it's going to list people who were associated with this parcel. I have an applicant whose name is Lorena Thompson, and she's right here, which is great. If I click this hamburger icon and that person doesn't appear, I can simply click this box and type in the name of the taxpayer. But for this instance, lucky us, this taxpayer is here. And now you can see all of the information was brought in from this particular property. Now, an email address. If you're filing on behalf of your constituent, I strongly recommend that you obtain their email address. The reason is because we would like to be able to send them some sort of email updates. Maybe they want to receive more information about any sort of appeals, maybe other exemptions. So I can definitely sign this person up to receive any sort of information via the assessor's office. So obtaining their email address is key for us because we want to be able to reach as many people as we can. Now, this individual isn't a senior. We are asking for their birthday. And the reason that we're doing so is because perhaps maybe in the future, this person will be a senior. And we want to be able to reach those individuals at a future date who might potentially be able to file for an additional exemption. this person does not have a trust. If I were to say yes, they did live in a trust, I would need to upload trust documentation. According to all the paperwork that she was in our office with, she was the owner on January 1st, and she was liable for those payments. She was not a resident of a life care facility. Application details is basically telling me the information, the documentation that's needed when I need to submit this application. I click next, and everything that I was filled in from all of these other questions are already pre-populated here. I'm putting the date that she stated that she moved in, and then I'm going to put today's date. Everything is populated in here. To save myself a little time, I copy paste the name, and then I hit next. And here is the attachments tab. So if I indicated that I was an attorney, which you all are not, I would have to upload a form here. If I indicated that the person was deceased, I would need a deceased affidavit and a death certificate, and a form needed for a deceased affidavit would be here for us to prompt. General affidavits are needed for service-connected veterans that own multi-unit properties. That is here. A lease agreement, that is also here. Photo ID, that's here, and that has an asterisk. So I need to be able to upload something for this filing to go in, this submission to go in. And I'll just go down the line. Again, every attachment that's needed, there's an asterisk next to it, and there's also the acceptable proof that's needed. If you see there's also friendly links, if there's some confusion of what's needed or any additional documentation, simply click on the link and that document can be downloaded or viewed. So the only thing here that I need to upload is proof of residency. I have a filing saved here. And all of the documentation has been uploaded. I click next. Did I save her name? I sure did. And I have a phone number. And then I hit submit. After the application has been submitted, I have a filing ID number that is on the screen, and I'm also emailed a filing confirmation. This is the confirmation that I received in my mail that the filing number has been submitted, our processing time, and all of our information. Does anybody have any questions with that filing?
There's one in the chat, Alex,
Okay.
from Annette. It says, this is the part that does not allow for a spouse refile if the spouse had passed away. And I believe she was referencing when you were inputting information about the taxpayer.
Got it. And is this for a renewal filing for a senior freeze?
They did not specify.
Got it. If you could send us that PIN number so we can take a look. Because if they're just trying to upload, maybe change the name, if the spouse had passed away, I'd like to take a look at that. I'd like our team to take a look at that PIN. If this is for the general filing, I'd just like to take a look at it.
And I will drop my email address in the chat so you can email me that PIN and I'll make sure to send that over.
I'm going to do another application for a senior freeze, if that's okay with everybody. I'm actually going to go the renewal route. So Angelina mentioned that we have a quick form, and a lot of people are going to be receiving blue booklets. That's our biggest mailer, and we want to be able to service people as fast as we can. So those seniors that receive a blue booklet, this is the fast route. I put the PIN number in and I hit start filing. If you can see at the top, as we stated, now I only have, we've shrunk the amount of tabs that we need to be filled out for the senior freeze renewal. This particular PIN does not have more than one PIN. So I'm going to click next. Again, if there are no additional subject PINs, we can click next. And this is a taxpayer owner. If I click taxpayer owner right here, Miss Margarita's name already pops up. If I needed to update the taxpayer information, I would click this box and I can type in the name of the taxpayer or the owner of the taxpayer / owner and their date of birth. On the senior freeze renewal, this is for surviving spouses. So if the question was regarding a senior freeze renewal to update that information, on this filing, you'd be able to update that. This information all came in automatically from our data that we have on file. So all I'm going to do is put in a birth date. There was no email address on this application, so I'm just going to put my email. We do ask for emails on the applications. That's a new feature that we have, and we would like to get that email. That way, when we go live for our filings for 2025 tax year, instead of receiving a booklet, we can also send them an email that will allow them to expedite their filing. Okay. This property is not owned in a trust. If it is owned in a trust, we don't require you to upload trust documentation on the renewal format. We do ask that you upload it for the general filing, but not on the senior freeze renewal. We've already identified that they were the owner on record, but for this filing, there is no person, no trust. She did not indicate that she was married. There is no multi-unit dwellings and none of it was used as commercial. And she didn't indicate that anybody else was living in her household. She gave us a total household income of $17,000, which she got from Social Security. And if I hit calculate, no zeros need to be put in, and her total household income is $17,000. Now, we do ask, they can provide proof of enrollment for one of these programs here, but the income is really what's going to drive this filing to be approved really fast. If one of your constituents says, yes, I am enrolled in one of these programs, you are going to need to upload a benefit program from year 2023. So if any of these are indicated as a yes, that is required. If they provide income, then you can simply put no for all of these, and that's sufficient. She indicated this was her primary residence for those years, and she was the record of the record of the identified property. She is the responsible for the taxes, and this is the only property that she filed for the senior freeze, and this was all of her income. And her marriage status is single. If you can see here, the only thing that is required is an ID. I have a filing saved here. I have her information here. I hit next. And I hit submit. Again, the submission was put in, I have a filing ID number, which we highly encourage people to keep their filing ID numbers. You can give them the filing ID numbers. You can make a list of filing ID numbers. And that way there is a record that you have for assisting these taxpayers, or they have a record. We have your filing ID number. And they get an email response saying that their application was submitted. I'd like to do a renewal as well for you all for the disabled veteran. This is our fast track renewal. Okay. This tab, it says if there's any additional parcels, I have no additional parcels, so I have to click next. I don't have to put anything else here. I click next. The applicant name. And again, this is for an individual that received a red booklet or a maroon booklet. None of this was used as commercial property. Again, these are fairly simple questions. And this is a disabled veteran. And they gave me a disabled letter stating their percentage of disability, and they're not a surviving spouse. They're not a resident of any living facility. They are the taxpayer owner. I'm going to click on this. And it looks like she changed her name. She used to be Griffin Simpson, and now she's Griffin. And she actually provided a marriage certificate for me, which is great. Because she changed her name, I'm actually going to update this. And she gave me an email address as well. And again, the email is key, so that way I can send her an email update when our filing goes live next year. The only thing that is required with the veteran exemption for this renewal filing is the service connected letter, which I already have saved here. I hit next.
Alex,
And-
before
yes.
you hit next, when
Mhm.
you changed the taxpayer name, you had a typo in the previous.
Oh, good looking out, team. And then I would hit submit. And again, I have a filing ID number and a confirmation that the submission was put in successfully. Okay. And I have an email here that I received that the application has been received. And then I received, I'll pull this one up. This was from the senior freeze renewal as well, from the prior filing that I submitted. Okay. Any questions?
There are some questions.
Sure.
That has to do more with eligibility, that I couldn't answer myself.
Okay.
But one of them was, can someone leasing a condo unit and is responsible for paying the taxes eligible to receive exemptions?
No, they're not. Condominiums and multi-unit properties, which are 211 and 212 properties, are not eligible to receive exemptions. So only those properties that are single-family homes are able to obtain exemptions via with the lease agreement. And the lease agreement has to be for the full calendar year, beginning January 1 through December 31st of the year in question.
Great. And then we had another one that said, I had a client yesterday that was connecting with his real estate friend in regards to exemptions. He shared that he was told by him that he could not apply for exemptions if he had a past due amount in his tax bill. Is that true? In this case in particular, I believe, the client is only past due for first installment of 2024.
No, that taxpayer can apply for exemptions for tax year 24. That's not an issue whatsoever.
Okay, and then a similar question too from Ava. If applying for certificates of error for exemption, oh wait, sorry, reading the wrong one. Is there a special process we should take when someone is facing a tax sale but is eligible for certificate of errors? If there is a way to expedite review?
There is a way to expedite review. If the taxes haven't been sold yet, I definitely encourage the taxpayer to perhaps visit us in person or contact our office with filing numbers so we can review. If the taxes were already sold for prior years, unfortunately, we would need a redemption letter and proof that redemption letter would provide proof that the taxes that were sold were redeemed, and then we could issue a certificate of error. But in an instance like that, it seems pretty urgent. I would highly recommend a visit an office.
And then I think Gina has answered the other ones, which is great. Thanks, Gina.
Awesome.
Going online as opposed to paper, but everything is online, so I'm not quite sure.
Sorry, I guess I can. Does anybody need any more rundown on an exemption filing? I'd be happy to demonstrate. Again, I think that it is a great method to submit an application, to get confirmation that the application was submitted, to get confirmation that the application was approved. A number of people are going to be receiving a lot of applications via mail. And so if they come to you and need some assistance, again, that senior freeze renewal route is the way to go. And to renew their application, they simply go on the tab for senior freeze and you can renew that way. Even if they're uncertain, if they had the senior freeze renewal before, if you were to go into the general filing and start creating an application, and I'm just going to show you this right now because I'm thinking about it. For this taxpayer.
Sorry, Alex, was that a question? I was reading.
No, you all can still see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Even if I go in through the general filing and the taxpayer says, well, I'm not quite sure if I had it or not, and you go the general filing route. Once I put that PIN number in and I'm on this exemption dashboard, it's telling me, number one, that the homeowner's exemption approved because it's been renewing every year, but it's also pointing to the link for the renewal filing, which is great. So some people might be confused. They're not quite sure. We have links embedded in all of our filings that are going to redirect people, especially in this general filing, to pivot them. Whoops, sorry about that. To pivot them to the filing so that they can easily renew. So right here, they would go the renewal route. They don't have to enter in 9 or 10 different tabs. They can go that renewal route.
Perfect. Alex, there's a question in the chat about should the family of a deceased senior use the senior fees renewal application or use the
Yes.
general filing?
I would use the, it's, they go the general filing route, it's actually gonna send them over to the senior freeze renewal. So I would, they would go the senior freeze renewal route.
Perfect. And then just to ease everyone's mind, there is a question in the chat about when you say everything in the future will be done electronically, does that mean that mailed renewal forms will go away too?
No, absolutely not. Again, this is just a great way. It makes it easier for people to be able to file. So paper is not dead. We're still going to be sending out applications, but if we can easily reach a taxpayer electronically, we'd like to be able to do so. I always say my father's 82 years old. He still wants all of his applications in the mail. I get it, but I'm doing my due diligence by doing things for him online. So I can show him, look, I submitted it for you, Pop. I got everything here. It was submitted. It was approved. You're good to go. So no, we're still going to have those paper applications. It's a great question.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And then just
No
for
problem.
transparency, in the chat, someone dropped the question about why not open the exemptions for all veterans regardless of disability? And then just to reiterate what was already said in the chat, exemptions are statutory, they're state laws. So our office does not create these exemptions. And therefore we cannot expand beyond whatever the state law says. Any other questions?
I'll stop sharing my screen.
Thank you.
We have one more question. When you say income, is that the gross earnings or are you or adjusted earnings on your taxes?
So that's a great question. And actually, we actually have a whole senior freeze documentation here that is a step-by-step income verification. So if you don't mind, can I
Of course.
steal the screen again? Thank you. Sorry, everybody.
Are you sharing it from the smart file or the
No,
website?
I'm going to share it from the website.
Perfect.
And it also is in smart file.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm used to Teams here.
I'm gonna drop it in the chat. I know you're.
Oh, got it. So we're looking for adjusted gross income, but in the chat that Angelina put in, we actually have step-by-step instructions, as well as we know we have some people that have maybe very complicated tax situations. So there is a link that's embedded into the senior freeze renewal filing that is multiple pages long that will show them how to put in any sort of their income for tax year 2023 income, and also much detailed information. So that is available on the senior freeze renewal, and it's also available on the senior freeze exemption page.
All right, perfect. Thank you. And now we will hand it over to, I believe, Luther is next.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen now for the low income senior freeze exemption. Just so everyone's aware where the document is located under documentation required. And then right under the third bullet point, the step-by-step instructions for income verification. And that's where you'll find that document.
Thank you. Okay, I think that's it, Alex. And now Lupe is going to share her screen and she will start presenting the next slides.
Can you guys see the screen or am I showing the wrong one?
Yes, no, you can see it.
Okay. Oh, well, take it away, Jenny.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So as you know, our application launched on the 5th. We had a press conference where we got a lot of great coverage. We have our press release, and we do have upcoming more press releases that will touch on specific exemptions, especially our populations, seniors and veterans with disabilities, to renew that application. We do have an email newsletter, as Alex mentioned. It's important that we collect this data so that we can share reminders on when our application opens, when they close, and just other general information that's important to homeowners. Next slide, please. Our office has put together a digital toolkit. Within this toolkit, you'll be able to find ready-to-use social media posts. We also have graphics, and we have ideas and messages for you to implement, whether it's for your own newsletter, maybe a short website blurb, something for your homepage, a banner, and other ideas to be able to share this message for homeowners. We have updated our graphics on the screen. You'll be able to see some of our new social media graphics. If you follow us on social, we're across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. On our YouTube page, you will be able to see the recordings of our virtual workshops. We have a few scheduled, not only from our office, but we do also collaborate with other nonprofit agencies. You'll be able to play back those videos. We have them in English and Spanish.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. So we actually wanted to also let you guys know that we do virtual exemption presentations, which we always live stream through Facebook and our YouTube accounts. We do have one today, which will be March 18th at 6 p.m. And we will have that same presentation in Spanish tomorrow, March 19th at 6 p.m. as well. And again, they're both available via Facebook and YouTube. If for some reason a homeowner can't make it, it is recorded and can be viewed later. So then like that, you can also distribute and share those links with your audience. But we also have a very small but mighty team of outreach department, and where we go out into the field and we can embed ourselves in your offices to help with one-on-one applications, answering any questions. We are there for resources. We can do in-person workshops where we go over the exemption eligibility, and we do those again virtually. We are at your disposal, and my email address will be at the end of the slides. Whoops. So like that, you can make sure that you're sending that over if you want to partner. We're always looking for new partners and encourage it, because we want to be available to the community, and we do have bilingual staff for English and Spanish.
All right, thank you. Just as a reminder, our exemptions are reflected on the second installment bill that is mailed by the Cook County Treasurer's Office. That is the yellow paper copy. If a homeowner doesn't have an email address, you may use a district or ward email address to file on their behalf. And then the most asked question, the deadline for our online application, that is going to be Monday, April 21st. We encourage you to please use our toolkit and share that information with your constituents. There was a question in the chat about the links. The links to our workshops, our virtual workshops, are available within the toolkit. And we will mail that out to those who register today. You'll receive a copy of the PowerPoint deck, the recording, and the toolkit. And we will, and here is our contact information. We are here to assist you. Again, we will share this out via email as well today. So, if you don't have time to write this down, we'll share that as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. And we will stick around for a few more questions. I see a few in the chat. How can we check the status of submitted 2024 exemption applications? That's a great question. So when you apply online, under your filings, you'll be able to see the status. I'm not sure if there's a way, Alex, if you can share your screen to show where they can check the application status. But yes, all online filing, you are able to check the status of your application via your My Filings tab within the platform. At the moment, mailings, any mailed applications are not able to be tracked for status. So that's a good reminder of why we also tell our communities to file online for not only a record of this, but an application status. There's a question.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so if you are able to go into your portal, you're able to see under My Filings. Let me share my screen. These are submissions that I had created. So if I submitted an application, it shows submitted pending review. An application for senior freeze was published. This was submitted and pending review. So depending on, what the status is of everything, you can go into My Filings and check those filings under your account.
Thank you.
No problem.
We have a question. So AS 400 will not be updated with the 2024 status.
That's correct.
Alex, there's another one. The town of you looks like township assessors.
Annette, my favorite. No offense to anybody here. Annette, yes. Townships, yes. You can still mail your renewal forms to the processing center. So we encourage that. And that is a great point. These blue applications on the back, we do have a Bedford Park address. If everything is the same name, no changes to it, please, you can definitely send those applications to the processing center.
Wonderful, thank you. If the filing was submitted and published to the property tax portal, can we assume it has been approved with no issues?
That is correct. Yes. And you're definitely welcome again, if with any sort of questions that you have our contact information. So rest assured, you can reach out to my management team and we can look into that filing for you.
All right, and here's our contact information again. A couple people asking about the cheat sheet. So the cheat sheet is basically, yes, we'll share it with you, but it's basically going to be what was in the PowerPoint that we showed. Can you go back to that slide, Lupe? It is slide 11. This one. So basically it's just I'm just gonna update this with dates on it and add the long time. And we will share this with everyone and you'll have it. And this is basically the cheat sheet for mailers. But it's really easy this year because the mailers have the same due date as the online application, which is April 21st. But yes, I know the cheat sheet really helps with the short description. So I'll just quickly revise this and that would be considered your cheat sheet. And we'll send it to the township assessors too. We usually send it to all of you in group email.
Great, thank you. We got a question about how easy is it to create an account to file online. It is very easy. All you need is an email. I've dropped the link in the chat. And the great thing about it, it is a uniform filing. So not only can you file for exemptions or certificate of error if you're eligible, you also, if your township is open, can file for an assessment appeal when the time comes. It's all in one filing.
There was another question that says, as soon as you enter the senior renewal application, you get published message. Does this mean it was approved?
That's a great question. The townships, I don't give you all enough credit. You do an amazing job of finding those applications for us and putting them in. So your applications, you're welcome to send us a spreadsheet, as I know that you do, so we can verify that those were put in. But if they're rock solid, it's safe to assume that those are going to be approved. But as you always do, you're welcome to send me a spreadsheet of PIN numbers and with filing numbers, and we can take care of that for you to rest your mind. That's okay. And in reference to how quick is it to create an account, I have an uncle who is 81 years old, and he was able to create an account less time than I think that some people that I know can. So I think that it is really easy for people to be able to do. But as again, my dad's 82, so I do it for him because that's what I do. But I think it's a really easy system.
And my favorite line to use that Lupe has heard me say many times, if you can learn to use Facebook or WhatsApp, you will be able to use this online platform.
Yeah. And I can do it even, you can do it on your phone as well. So
All right. I think that's about it. So we're going to go ahead and close. And again, you'll be shared a copy of this PowerPoint, and the cheat sheet will be within it. Someone's asking, just last one, if the applicant doesn't have an email, will they be forced to make one? Correct. You have to have an email in order to apply online. Yes.
but if they're helping them file for them, they could just put in their own email address.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do that as well. All right. We are going to call it then. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And thank you so much for all the compliments too. Thank you. We appreciate you all. You're an extension of our office, and we know that you work one-on-one with the constituents too. So we really appreciate your help in all of this. Thank you so much. Everyone have a good afternoon, and I hope you enjoyed the nice weather today. Bye.